Hi, my name's Ben Roberts, and I'm going to be here with two wonderful women from Bayloy University. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then we're going to go from there.
I'm Nassim Kozain. I'm from Waco, but my father is Iranian and my mom is Texan.
I'm Colleen Pasentino. I live in Waco right now. I'm from Washington, D.C. originally.
Great. We're supposed to talk about the Middle East and what's gone on for the last couple of years, more specifically in Egypt with the social network, but I don't want to start there, okay? First, Colleen, tell us about where you were from, where you are now, and the cultural differences that happened.
In terms of the Middle East?
No, in terms of just being from the North and being a Yankee.
Okay. Yeah, big Yankee. Growing up in Washington, D.C., it's obviously a lot more liberal than here. People are extremely opinionated, and here and where I'm from, have different opinions, but definitely very opinionated. I guess growing up in the North, we had, I was raised kind of apathetically. Both of my parents were a little bit more politically apathetic and not as much involved in political aspects of things. And then as I started to get older and go to high school and college and had more friends that were getting more involved and more of the issues started affecting me, I began to try to form a little bit of my own opinions. And I found myself being a little bit slightly more conservative than a lot of my friends, but then coming here I found myself a lot more liberal than a lot of the people here. So it's definitely been a big shift in terms of people's political views and just their views, social views, but definitely very opinionated to very opinionated.
Yeah. Tell us what it's like to be, before you came, were you nervous about how conservative and how different the South would be versus growing up in the North?
No, I was actually kind of welcoming of it because I had a lot of the people up north are very close-minded, and I had heard that the reputation for Texans is that they are very opinionated, but also that they're very friendly, whereas people in D.C. don't always get the friendly tag attached to them. They're very close-minded and not friendly. So I was, I'm always willing to talk to people about opinions, and I'm always willing to hear other people's opinions, so I was looking forward to coming to a place where, people would have opinions and be very strong and very individual and believe in what they stood behind, but at the same time were respectful of other people's opinions, and that's I think the big difference is what I've seen.
Thank you, Colleen. Okay, Nassim, tell us your story.
Well, my dad moved to the United States when he was 17, met my mom in college, and they had me in Huntsville, Texas.
And where is your dad from again?
He's from Iran, from Tehran, the capital there. And basically most of his family had to escape Iran. They had to leave all of their possessions and land and homes because of persecution, because they're members of the Baha'i faith. And so that's how his family all got here. And basically I was one of only 3 Persians in the city of Waco. Definitely the only person with my name. And it was interesting because the Persian culture is pretty dominating, so that's what dominated in my family. The language and the grandmother living with my parents and things like that. So it had a large impact on how I viewed American culture, which is kind of different from the culture at home. Women and men have their different certain roles in Persian culture. It's a very indirect culture, very polite. So you never say that you want anything. It's always kind of like hinting at wanting something, maybe. So it was a big adjustment to try to get along with people at school, and then also have the Persian culture in that as well.
So we saw what happened in Egypt. Mubarak stepped down. Facebook and Twitter was a huge part of that. Obviously, that's what we're here to talk about. Tell us what happened in Iran, real quick, but then more importantly, why was it not able, in your opinion, to be able to follow kind of the same path that Egypt did?
Well, I think a lot of the protesters were shut down very brutally, and I think that's what's different. I think Egypt, they were still allowed to protest peacefully, but Iran even people trying to peacefully help communities, they put in jail. So they stop people before they start. Is what I'm kind of saying, or if they just begin to start. So I think that's what the difference is.
Colleen, I'm going to change the question a little bit for you. I sent out 160 emails to the entire Baylor University MBA program and to about 50 undergraduates, and I had 2 responses, you and Nassim. And I am really interested on what you think keeps people from wanting to talk about it. And be honest and tell us exactly what you think.
I think part of it is that, and this was worry for me too, is seeming ignorant about the situation, because there's so much going on. When people say the Middle East, they're referring to, tons of different countries. There's tons of different situations going on, and it's just, escalating, and there's something new, it seems, every week. There's a situation in Egypt, and then there's a situation in Libya, and that's not even, the situation, people still don't even know what's going on in Iraq and Afghanistan, and they just know that some bad things are going on, and I think that no one wants to appear as if they don't know about these things, but it is really hard to keep up with all of it, especially, MBA students. So we have so much reading, there's hardly any time. You'd have to be on CNN all day reading stuff just to stay up with it, and it's very overwhelming, so it's easy to just skip past on you. And I think that's the main reason why people are hesitant to talk about it, is because it's really hard to know exactly what is going on, and to have an opinion on something that's so confusing and far-reaching.
Yeah. So that's interesting. You would say it's not apathy, but it's more of a fear of, or not even fear. What adjective?
I guess it's more, you don't want to seem ignorant, because it's obviously very important what's going on. You want, especially in educated people such as MBA students, don't want to, they don't want to be caught off guard with questions about the Middle East. It seems like something you should know about, because it's very pertinent right now to the whole world. It is going on right now, but at the same time, very, very few people could accurately describe the exact situation. I think that scares a lot of people off wanting to really discuss it.
Nassim, as someone who's half Persian, would that be right, or half Iranian? Tell me what your vision is for the Middle East when you have kids. What do you want your kids' perception of the Middle East to be, and how do you think the best way for that to happen will be?
Well, they have to have freedom. I mean, I hope my kids can go to the Middle East and see the rich culture that it has to offer. It is a beautiful culture as far as the music, the arts, the sciences, everything. So I hope they'll be able to go there, and the people there will be able to feel like they can express themselves in any way they want.
So what else? How cute.
I know.
For those of you who don't see this, we had a bunch of little school kids walk right behind us. I don't think there's anything more wonderful than little kids, right?
Yeah.
That sounded creepy. Whatever. Okay, so we all want peace. So let me ask it this way. I'm going to say some things, and you can tell me if you agree or disagree. Everybody wants peace, but at the end of the day, there's very few of us who really exactly understand what's going on, and so we want peace, but we have no idea how to work towards it. We don't know what organizations to support. We don't, and foreign policy is led by politicians and not by citizens. So how do we, as just normal citizens going into business, we're all getting our MBAs, so the hope is that we're significant people in business, how do we control more of our foreign policy as a nation, but more importantly to that, how do we as individuals make a difference in the Middle East? And I'll give you a minute. I know that's a hard question.
Are you inside? Okay, I'll be right there.
I think a lot of it is trying to find a way to stay on top of what's going on and educate yourself. And it is very hard, especially with the news media is very, you're not going to find a lot of sources that are going to give you accurate information that don't have some sort of spin on it either way. And that's what kind of turned me off. I used to try to follow the news, and everything you get is you read something and it's just obviously from either one of a political standpoint, it's got a liberal spin or a conservative spin, or it's trying to accomplish an agenda, and it's very, very hard to get just information about what's going on, and I can't, I don't feel as if I can trust a lot of information from over there, what's going on. So I think the first step would be trying to find a way to get the correct information, try to find sources of this information, and at least try to understand it in a basic sense. Every little thing that's going on.
Nassim, would you add anything to that?
That was great. I also think supporting the people of those countries through technology, just so that they know they have the support of the people here, and I think as being MBA students, we can get into our jobs funding charities that help support the freedoms of those places. As governments, I think we should all support the democracy of those nations. And I myself have written letters to congressmen and House of Representative members about freedoms that are being violated, especially with the Baha'is that are there, and getting resolutions passed through our own system on condemning what the fanatical governments are doing to innocent people. So,
All right, we're at 12 minutes, so I'm going to wrap it up. Is there any last things that either one of you would want to say, comment on, hope for? I think kind of my idea is here, let's think, what's the best way to end this? I don't know. Does anybody have any last thoughts?
Well, I was thinking about what Nassim was saying about the culture and how vibrant. There's so many great things that the Middle East has to offer. And part of my hope is since I was a little kid, I was really interested in pyramids in Egypt, and I would like to go there one day, and I would like to bring my kids there one day. And right now, that's just not possible. I would like to see a future where we can take advantage of that culture, and just kind of, it kind of goes along with, everyone hopes for world peace, so obviously, but there are a lot of things that I think Americans can benefit from learning more about the Middle Eastern culture, and it's just so hard right now. There's such negative connotations with a lot of it that it's gotten really hard. So I would hope that would improve.
Thank you, Colleen.
yeah, I also think too, their culture can learn a lot from ours. Just growing up in those two different worlds, they've been oppressed for so long. Even watching my family members in their jobs, they're not used to selling themselves or being promoted because they've just been used to a culture that's always oppressed them. So I think giving them the confidence to be able to stand up for themselves and things like that were something they can learn from us too.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have been excellent, and this is going to be great. I appreciate it.